So this is going to be a long video. It's colorful at least, and it'll make you dizzy, so at least that hasn't changed. We were about to leave Patna for good and head out to Varanasi. Varanasi is the holiest city on the Ganges. It's the site of a lot of the photographs you'll see of people on the steps bathing. They do that in a lot of cities, but Varanasi has the largest number of these ghats. We were waiting for our train. It was late.
It hasn't been announced.
Okay.
I want to sleep now.
But the train did come, and on the way, one of the sights we saw was a very fast sort of wild goat. Never got the name of it, but it was very fast and very beautiful. After we boarded the train, we found that there were these 3 or 4 young men from Punjab who were in our seats. They didn't have tickets with seat numbers on them, so they politely got out of our way and gave us our window seats, but after kind of ignoring each other for an hour or so, we kind of became friends. They were interested in Anthony's Kindle. There was a bit of a language barrier, but Uncle Jack came to the rescue and explained to them that this could hold thousands of these things, and he showed them the India book. I think they were impressed. So towards the end of the ride, Debbie decided to teach these boys the game Farkle, which is a dice game, and they got into it. Uncle Jack helped to explain. That gentleman on the left there with the blue and white checkered shirt, I think he eventually won, and boy, was he happy. We gave him the score sheet as his prize, and he was whooping it up. We can always teach competitiveness. Here he is, holding his prize, and Debbie, who was such a good hostess to these 4 young men. Then we arrived at the train station, and Uncle Jack got us a couple of auto rickshaws to our hotel, and we packed it in for the night, had a great dinner at our hotel, and got some sleep. The next day, to the river. Debbie caught this really rather sweet footage of a bull and a cow grooming each other. So we started about a mile-long walk, starting on the west side, coming through town and getting down to the water level, and then walking along what would be the shoreline, but it's all concrete steps, for about a mile. And this is mostly that walk. We took a break in the middle, as you'll see, and we wound up getting some delicious refreshment at the end. I apologize in advance for those of you who are going to get motion sick just watching this.
One of them. It's a video. Oh. That was a good pose.
So here's where both I and Uncle Jack get asked if we want a boat ride. We don't. The guy becomes a little persistent, and Uncle Jack deals with him in Hindi.
Hindi.
I saw that they had flowers on his head. वो वाला white वाला. सर, एक बोट है वो white वाला. ले चलेगा घुमा के अच्छा से लाएगा.
So we come to a more active spot where we wind up taking a little bit of a break. This is sort of the center of the action. A lot of tourists and a lot of pilgrims.
Yes. In Vietnam, they literally. Hello. Mind if we sit for a few minutes and watch right up there in the shady steps?
That's fine.
We're gonna take a rest. We're gonna sit on the steps, maybe over there in the shade.
Come.
Yes, come. Come.
Okay. So we met this Italian gentleman and his lovely Spanish girlfriend. They were very entertaining.
And now is a big condition. Big.
And this guy who wouldn't go away.
At least Google it, but definitely you will be connected or somehow you probably met him. Spanish in Spain is very popular.
Jesuits began in Spain. Saint Ignatius of Loyola.
After about 5 minutes, he gave up and went away. We were really instructed not to give money to beggars because it just perpetuates a bad system. So we didn't. I know Anthony at one point bought a little girl the piece of candy she demanded, however. Softy.
The cobra and the leopard print skirt.
At one point, we had to wade into the Ganges in order to keep going on our little walk. Debbie wasn't all that up for that, so Anthony came to the rescue. Such a good son. So as we continued on, we got to the end of the line, so to speak, and that's where the largest burning ghat is. Burning ghat is where they burn the bodies, and they burn them with expensive wood, especially if you're important. We were not allowed to take any pictures or movies of that, so we didn't. It was very smoky, but we picked up a little guide who brought us up so we could get a good look at it. He didn't demand any money or anything, but he stuck with us. You'll see him here in some of these photos. Our destination was the Blue Lassi shop, which is sort of famous in the travel literature for the best lassis, which are sweet yogurt drinks in India.
I think you do. They ask you when you fill it out.
There's our young self-appointed guide right there.
In the Ganga Puji restaurant. Ceremony with Aarti.
When I read the reviews and the glowing travel logs about this shop to Uncle Jack on the train, I have to admit he laughed quite a bit and thought it was a pretty ridiculous set of claims. But after he had one of these, this is a banana coconut one, he admitted it was every bit as good as they said. The Blue Lassi, if you ever get to India, make a trip there if you do nothing else. The Taj Mahal can wait. Of course, when we said goodbye to this nice young man, we did slip him some cash. He was very helpful, very unaggressive. I think he's really mastered the soft sell of tourism to tourists. Well done, young man, well done. Our next job was to get up from the shore and into the city a little bit to find a good restaurant, which we did. Had a wonderful lunch, and then we grabbed a cab back to our hotel. Okay, well, we sat around a while first, and then we went and had lunch, and then we did grab a cab back to our hotel. And this was our hotel neighborhood. And this is one of the residents who you just don't cross.
A pretty animal.
So we went in for the afternoon to our air-conditioned hotel lobby, and Uncle Jack had been in touch with one of his 21 daughters, and she was coming to see him at our hotel. We hadn't known this, but we were very excited to meet her. About an hour later, he called her and said, "Where are you?" And she said, "Oh, the driver went too far." She was coming by rickshaw. She spent an hour in about 100-degree heat to come in her beautiful orange sari and pick him up and take him out to dinner that night. She had a very pretty smile, but she was shy with the video on, so I only got this very brief video.
Video. Say hello.
I cannot remember her name, but I know she is single. She is a teacher at the Catholic school. She teaches both history and English. She was extremely poised, very articulate, and Uncle Jack was just beaming with pride. And that was the end of our first full day in Varanasi. The next day started at dawn with a boat ride on the Ganges.